We will wait, we will see. A lot of process. We talk about process sometimes and it can glaze the eyes over, but this stuff matters. Chris, I want to talk about China because obviously by Australia getting closer to Japan, that mighty pisses off China for, well, not so obvious reasons, but China ain't our friend, and I think it's best for us to be getting as many other friends around the region as possible. The Prime Minister spoke to you tonight about how those who want to, well, trade off the displeasure of China versus Australia's national interest means that we should choose to not stand up for our national interest. Here's what the PM told you earlier tonight.
If that is the source of tension that is being raised, then these are matters that go to Australia's national sovereignty. And it's not clear to me, those who would seek some improvement in the relationship in Australia, how that would be achieved and what that would mean if it would mean compromising on these clear areas of national sovereignty. Now, of course, we're not going to do that.
Chris, I love the steel in his spine, and I know the hits that are going to be coming his way. What do you think of what the PM told you tonight on the air?
Look, I think that's a really good position. I mean, that's what it's all about. It's Australia's interests, Australia's values. You've got to stand up for them. Now, I'll give Labor some credit here. I think federally they've been pretty good in supporting the government on this. It needs to be bipartisan. The weak link is some Labor premiers. Mark McGowan and Daniel Andrews seem to want to kowtow to China too much. But, I mean, the point here is that China is trying to bully Australia desperately to act against our national interests, to turn on our allies. Japan is no new friend of ours. We had strong trade links with Japan long before we did with China, and they were our #1 trading partner, and they're still, second or third. And what we're looking at doing is maturing that relationship into one that's a little bit more security and defence focused, and that's a good thing. It's a liberal democracy. It's also an ally of the US. It makes all kinds of sense for us, as does the building up of our trade and strategic links with India. And we just got to keep at this and ignore China and hope that good sense comes to pass in the end. Maybe, I'm not a big fan of Joe Biden, as you know, but if he's inaugurated as president, maybe that will just create a little opportunity for a reset here. I worry that it will have the opposite effect, but there is a chance that if there's some sort of reset between the US and China, that Australia might draw some benefit from that.
Yeah, Catherine McGregor, we're going to talk about the war crime stuff in a second, but I just want to quickly bring you in Canberra, if we can bring her up, guys, in the studio. Just about this China stuff and about what Chris was just saying about potential resets and recalibrations. How important is the continuation of Trump to our protection or the recalibration that might come under Biden?
Well, I think the only optimistic view to take, Paul, I think, is that the longevity of the alliance is built on, it extends beyond the personality of the incumbent. And people forget, people gloss over this, and I was heartened to hear that quote from the Prime Minister, because we've had a lot of people running around, Jeff Raby, the former ambassador, and others, self-flagellating as though this is Australia's problem, when in fact China has aggravated nearly the entire ASEAN region, most of the littoral states in the South China Sea. And people very conveniently forget that we host large joint facilities with the United States that are integral to their space and cyber warfighting capabilities. The first picture of any Chinese operation across the Straits of Taiwan or a launch of any kind of ballistic missile from China would be detected by facilities that we co-host with the United States. So we don't get to walk both sides of the streets on this. And I think reset, yes, but what the PM has said and what even Simon Birmingham has said is that we can't trade at the price of being who we are. And what is being exacted from us at the moment are ultimatums that go to our very core identity. It's not about barley or wine or iron ore. Ultimately, it's an attempt to coerce us into recognising their regional hegemony, their entirely illegitimate conduct in Hong Kong, and their avarice towards in Hong Kong, and their ultimate desire to occupy Taiwan. Now, we simply can't take a walk on those things. And I think whether Joe Biden's inaugurated or not, the underlying fundamentals of our commitment to the United States and ultimately to what I think is this emerging quad with Japan and India joining us is going to be, it will define itself.
Good stuff. We'll bring back you for the chat about the ADF stuff in a second. But